Alright, what's going on my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. We're here on the Treasure Cruise planning website. I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. This is a great asset to use when you are building your own treasure map teams. It's a lot easier to build your teams here, and then you can just build them in-game. Switching and changing your teams while in-game in the team builder can be annoying at times. It's much better to plan it out here so you can get all your eggs in a row to make sure that everything is lining up perfectly. So these teams here are more centered around not using any of the new units. Of course, we will have to use them as a friend captain, obviously, for the intrusion and the final boss. But more importantly, like the rare recruits and like legends and stuff like that, like the more recent ones, we're not really going to be using them. So let's go ahead and have a look and see what we have. So the first boss here is against Edison and Pythagoras. We get cooldown for all units here. There's 8 turns of special bind for your 2 bottom rows. So your captains are unaffected by this. This is important. Full border bomb slots, normal attacks only. Your slots will be locked until you hit a perfect, and bomb slots are treated as badly matching for 5 turns. So what we're going to do here is use this new character, the Grand Feast Vega Punk. The main reason why we are doing that is because his captain ability reduces special bind by 2 turns, so it only ends up being 6 turns of special bind, and then his own special removes the 6 turns of special bind. So he himself does remove everything. Also says if you have a cerebral captain and then he himself has a bomb or a super bomb slot, you can remove one selected debuff by 5 turns. So of course you are able to remove this, which is very important. So that's what you got to do. However, there is a bit of an issue with this, is that a lot of people, including myself, didn't actually get the skulls to super evolve this guy. I'm missing 1 skull to super evolve him. I'm so mad that I wasn't able to get it. And I farmed this Kizuna a lot, actually. So we'll have to use this. And the original version, the unevolved version, only removes it by 2 turns. So it does make things a little wonky. We may just have to try and use this guy as a friend captain to get through it, but it's really dumb. But this team will work really good if you have the Vega Punk. We're just going to use Vista for wave clearing, Crocodile for an attack boost, Rio Kyugyu for an orb boost. That's basically it. You don't have to use these guys, but these guys just give you a lot of damage through. Moving on to Atlas is the next boss. Basically, this new Super Evolution Kuzan single-handedly deals with this. So his special ability will remove the chain coefficient reduction that we are inflicted by Atlas, which is this right here. Full board of badly matching slots, and with Kuzan as a captain, all of those slots are basically treated as matching, so it doesn't really matter. And then there is a chain attack down if your chain is below 4.5. If you're using Kuzan as a captain, achieving above a 4.5 is very, very easy to do. So we're doing that, and in order to fulfill all of Kuzan's captain abilities, you need a strength unit and a dex unit alongside. So we're just using Zorajuro to wave clear the first 2 stages, and then also Maha, who gives an attack boost for shooters and fighters, which just works pretty well for the team. So yeah, Kuzan single-handedly deals with this one. Now, Lilith is a bit of an annoying boss. So what they want you to do is to use this guy, which is the free-to-play S-Shark, but they also want you to use this Jinbei alongside him. Use those 2 in the middle row, and you basically deal with a lot of the debuffs. Both of them remove bind, and then one of them, I think it's S-Shark, does like a 4-turn orb boost, which still allows you to go through this resilience, intimidate, should I say. There's also Despair, which this Jinbei that came out recently deals with. And yeah, that's basically what they want you to do, because Jinbei also gives you damage reduction. So yeah, really, really weird fight here. So what we're doing here is we're going to be using this squad right here. So we're going to be using Usopp as our captains because he just works well. Again, you don't have to use these specific units, but the key important ones, as Shark's really good. Nami and Carrot are here to give us the ability to get around the bind that's inflicted. And we are still inflicted with a lot of despair, which is why we have the Pedro support along with the Hody Jones. Now, one thing I did kind of overlook is that death damage. I thought I dealt with that, but it looks like I don't. So Frankie would have to be replaced with someone else that gives you damage reduction in some capacity. And it is 150k, so depending on how things go, your team might actually have a lot of HP to play around with. This one gives 1.3 times HP, which is not a huge amount, but in TM with all the boosts going on, potentially might be enough. And if you have like damage reduction support, you could just put like Mr. 3 support, for example, which gives you a 50% damage reduction on stage 3. That probably is going to be enough, including like damage reduction from your sockets and stuff. It's probably going to be enough. But either way, this is a very similar team that will be able to get it done, I would think. I don't think it's going to have too many issues. We're going to move on to Shaka, which is the final of the Battle Rush bosses. So with this team, they want you to use Luffy and Lucci as the captain because of this right here. So there is going to be special cooldown or special reverse, 3 turns for your left side of your team. And then on the right side of your team, you're inflicted with 6 turns of special bind. So how we're dealing with this is we have the Koala who deals with special reverse in her captain ability. We've got Luffy who deals with the special bind. He also gives attack boost and all that kind of stuff. Koala gives a good color affinity boost to free spirit and fighters. And then there is paralysis, which Luffy also deals with. So this Luffy deals with a lot of stuff here, which is great. And then we have Brook to wave clear the first 2 stages, and that's basically it. These open positions can literally be whatever you want. However, I would suggest it to be quick units that are also fighter, or quick units that are also free spirit. That's what I would suggest for these last 2 slots. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we have the Vega Punk fight. Now, this is the hardest fight in this whole boss. The S-Bear fight isn't too bad, but Vega Punk is pretty hard. So let's have a look here. So you see here, when you reach stage 2, 4 turns of blue shield, 2 turns of rainbow shield, 2 turns of threshold, and there is a barrier where you have to hit him with at least 1 super bomb slot. The best character for this is this S-Bear, the most recent one that came out in the Pirate King Adventures. Main reason for that is because he has triple special activation. You can use his special 3 times. You remove 3 turns of increased defense, percent damage reduction, and damage threshold, as well as giving himself a super bomb slot, which you can use to break through this barrier. He removes this, he removes this. However, he does leave 1 turn left of this. You could potentially apply a support onto your team to remove that. However, you could also just use this Luffy as your captain. His special ability is going to remove increased defense on the opponent's side of the field completely, so that will get through all of that, and that's ideally what you do. So you use the S-Bear special a couple of times, use the Luffy special, you kill, you're good. When you reach the last stage, there is block slots, which is why we have the Brûlé. We also have the Sanji support on this Jinbei. Main reason for that is because this Sanji will remove the 1 turn of resilience on the enemy side of the field. There is 6 turns of despair, which is also why I selected Jinbei for this position. 6 turns of damage threshold, which is why I've selected this Sakazuki, who enable us to get through that. And then there is also like a target lock. Apparently there's 2 enemies on this stage. We don't know what the enemies are, but apparently there are 2 enemies. One of them is going to target lock. You can only tap with 2 characters for 1 turn. So that also limits the amount of damage you could potentially do. And there is delay immunity, but you can apply other defensive, debuffs on the opponent's side of the field. I actually completely forgot. I want to have a look real quick. What does this character do with their special? The love status and the increased defense and stuff like that. So on the final stage, I think what we want to do here is we want to actually use the S-Snake special. So when the enemy has the love status, people have been talking about this, but apparently some of these are not going to activate. Like I think it's this one right here. I'm not 100% sure how this works, but I think that the enemy will not activate this if they're under the love status. Don't quote me on that, but I'm just saying a lot of people have been saying that the love infliction that S-Snake does is going to override some of the really difficult gimmicks in this Vega Punk fight. I hope that's the case. We'll have to wait and see when the fight actually drops, but it looks like it is going to be pretty tough. So we'll see exactly what happens. But you do see that, like, on death, the enemy will change your slots into badly matching and also bind your top row for 10 turns. We'll see what happens. There is damage immunity as well, and that is where the S-Snake comes in. So if the damage immunity ever comes up, the EX Super or the Super class of S-Snake will remove 1 turn of nullification, full board of tandem slots, resistance down, all that good stuff. So if that does come up, you have the EX Super to trigger that, because we are able to launch it because we have Luffy, and we also have S-Bear. Both characters are required for the Super class of S-Snake. And there is an open position because I didn't really know what to fill it with. You could put whatever you want. Of course, if you've pulled some of the more recent characters, they're going to slot quite nicely onto this team. Anything you can put on here to give you more damage is what I would suggest. Let's move on to S-Bear, which is the final fight. I say it's the final fight. It's technically the first fight. It's the Intrusion battle boss. S-Bear does seem pretty rudimentary, like nothing too crazy. So on stage 2, there is going to be all of your slots changed to Dex or Quick. There is 5-turn blue shield, 4-turn rainbow shield, and if you have any type slots, they're going to be reducing damage that you do. I'm not 100% sure what the best way around this is. I was contemplating putting an int cerebral character onto the team. I was thinking Sabo initially, so you could put something like Halloween, Korra, and Law as a support to change your slots. I don't know if that's going to work out. You could potentially put a Sanji on your team, and Sanji with the support of the Germa 66 Psy Legend will change all your slots into tandem, which can enable you to do a lot of damage, not having to worry about these slots. So that is also another option. I'm not 100% sure what the best way around this is, but in terms of getting around the defensive effects, we have Luffy for this one, and we have the Psy TM Jinbei for this one. When we move into the final stage, there is going to be 2 turns of special reverse for your captains, which is why I've opted for the Carrot and Wanda character. There is 6 turns of attack down, which is why I have the Whitebeard and Ace. There aren't really a lot of good attack down removers in this fight. And you can just have a look here. Like, well, yeah, those characters are right. I got it wrong. Hang on, let me go ahead and do this. So these are the attack down removers that you got access to. So you got Weevil if you've pulled him. The S-Bear does technically do it, but not until he super evolves. So when you can super evolve your S-Bear, it's going to make the S-Bear fight actually a lot easier, because then you don't actually need the Whitebeard and Ace character. S-Bear is on this team just to trigger the super class of S-Snake. If you have Zoro Kaku, they can remove the attack down. This S-Hawk can also deal with the attack down. Lucci Kaku can also potentially do that. This guy only removes it by 3 turns. So yeah, there's really not a lot of good options until you super evolve S-Bear, which is really frustrating. In terms of everything else, as I said, S-Snake's superclass can remove the damage nullification. S-Snake's special can remove the increased defense. There is a barrier, but that shouldn't be too tricky to get around. And that's basically it. Like, it all worked kind of well. The only thing I am concerned about is stage 2 and this, because if you have a full board of type slots, you're basically not doing any damage. As I said, the specials that we plan on using is going to be Luffy's and then Jinbei's. So if there are any supports that could potentially give you like recovery slots, that could give you tandem slots, something like that on them as a support might be the way to get through this a little bit more comfortably. So we'll have to wait and see about that. I will be doing pulls on this TM Sugo Fest. Most likely it's going to be part 3, so might have to wait until that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can get our hands on some of these units, man, because yeah, this TM looks pretty rough. One thing as well is that in this Sugo Fest, there's no step that guarantees a TM rare recruit. So you could literally do like 10 multis and literally not get anything. Whereas like on other normal TM banners, if you do like 4 multis, you're guaranteed to have at least 1 TM rare recruit. Yeah, it's just going to make things a little bit tricky this time around. So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.